So have you watched a ton of videos from Roots Tech, and have you seen the new releases coming to FamilySearch? This one might interest you, and I'm also going to give you some extra advice when we go over to the computer. But what this change does is it impacts who you're following on the FamilySearch platform, because it is a one-world family tree, and how you can filter those that you follow in the follow list. You can do this by labeling. Before we go over to the computer, I do want you to know that labeling your follow list is not the same thing as Ancestry MyTreeTags. And if you haven't learned about Ancestry MyTreeTags, make sure you look in the description or check out the pop-up screen that will appear in just a moment. But this is not the same thing. The labels only go on your follow list. Now it's time to get over to the computer and tell you what all that means. So let's go to Family Tree and go to Following. This is where you're going to find a list of everybody that you follow on FamilySearch. Now let's stop for a second. Maybe you're thinking, I don't know what you mean by following. All right, let's get you caught up to pace. So this is my multiple great-grandmother. If I wanted to know how we're related, there is a link that I can click that view relationships, and it tells me she's my great-grandmother, and then that's my grandfather, and that's his parents. Now, beside view relationship, you notice how there's this black star and the word following? Perhaps you haven't started following your grandmother yet to watch changes to her family tree, and your star will look white or blank and have the word follow next to it. When you click follow, it becomes following with the black star. And that way you know that you're following her, and then she will appear on this following list. Now, as you can see right here, I've already started implementing some of these labels. Remember, they're not tags. They don't show up on your family tree page like I just was at. They're just here in this following list. Let's say that I want to find Emma. I can type in her name, and now the list is filtered to the 2 people named Emma that I am following in my tree. I'm going to zoom in a little closer so you can actually read what we're doing. There's a new feature that I just saw, and I'm so glad I messed up my first version of this video, because FamilySearch just started adding something else that wasn't there when I first filmed this video. It shows you how many people are following that ancestor. Let's go try somebody that I'm pretty sure somebody is going to be following more than I am. How about Rebecca Dickey? Oh, there's only one person following. I'm really shocked. This is pretty handy. But I'm starting to see how many people are actively researching my tree or following them. I thought for sure John Townley would have a number of people following, and there's just 2. What about my Effingham Townley? There's just 2. So this was pretty eye-opening to see just how few people are following. You probably have a larger name. But let's go back to Emma. And what we're going to do is we're going to click on Add Label. So we're going to add label. Am I actively changing her? Have I completed my research on her? Is she the end of the line? Am I interested in? Am I researching, or am I stuck? Or there's a way to can add a custom label. We'll come back to that in just a moment. I really wish they would tell us what they meant by these labels. I guess it's up to you, but if I'm interested in them, they would be on my list. I'm not going to be using that one. Most likely. I did for training purposes. She's not the end of the line. She's not complete because I'm sure there's more records about her. So I'm just going to do researching. And then what I can do is add notes, writing great-grandma's family history, and save the label. Now you can create custom labels, and one of the ones that Ron Tanner from FamilySearch recommended is watch for merging. Now I have an ancestor who is constantly being merged with someone else. Charles Gordon, I've talked about him on this channel before. People keep trying to link him with Nathaniel Charles Gordon, and the records just don't line up. So I want to make sure that I am watching him like a hawk. I'm sure there's other ancestors that you have that people are merging. Maybe they have the same name and they live in the same place, and people don't do deep research, which we've talked about fixing bad merges here on the channel. Check for the link in the description for that video. It could also be children that are merged together because parents recycled names. So they had a Mary, the Mary died, and there's another Mary born a year later, and people think it might be the same Mary because that Mary lived into adulthood. So you'll want to put those problem people with the label that says, watch for merging. Now, another label you might have to add to your tree is direct ancestor, because you can watch as many people as you want, but it might be better if you come to this following list and you have it filtered to your direct ancestors, and then you have maybe some other labels. So how do you create a custom label? It really is super easy. Click on create new label. Pretty self-explanatory. And now I'm going to put direct ancestor, create label, scroll down. It will not attach to Emma until I select the name, select the label. And now I can put in a note. I just typed in great grandmother. You don't have to do it for everybody, but it could be pretty handy. You know how I tell you not to skip reason statement boxes? It's fine if you skip the note, but if you want to add a note, go ahead and add it. Save the label. So now I have researching, and if I click on that, I see researching and notes. And if I click on direct ancestor, then I see my notes. So it could be actually fairly handy. Now you're on your master list. You have everybody here. But let's say you want to filter this down. Well, you have the options. Click on options. And then you can actually sort your entire list by last name. And you can do ascending or descending. Descending puts the individuals with no known last name first. Ascending puts the A's first. I kind of like that. You can sort by date of death. The ones who have no dates first. And then when you actually have dates, you'll have the furthest back in time to the most present for the ones that you're following. But again, remember we had those filters where we wanted to filter by interested in. You can do that. Researching, watch for merging. And there's my Charles Gordon. So that's a pretty handy way to filter your list. I also like to see that this number is 409 people. There are 409 people out of all of the people I'm possibly related to that I'm actually following. Now, I know some of you like to follow and create these massive trees, 63,000 names in one database over on Ancestry or in your Roots Magic program and stuff. When it comes to FamilySearch, please don't try to follow that many. Follow the people that you're actively researching, because you can always come back and change it to unfollow and follow somebody else. But you don't need to follow everybody in your tree, seriously. So let's say that you want to clean up your follow list. How are you going to do that? Well, we're going to go back and we're going to take off the filter, first of all. And we're going to start looking for names that you're no longer quite interested in. And so let's say you're not interested in researching Peter Bruce Zemstein anymore. Let me tell you one thing before you go unfollow him. Go make sure you know who that person is. So I'm familiar with the name, but I can't exactly remember who that person is. So I'm going to click on Peter Bruce. And notice there is this, I can go look at him in the tree, or I can figure out my relationship to him. So I'm going to click on this little icon. When you hover over your mouse over it, it will get this really tiny little prompt box that says view relationship. For those of us with really bad eyes, that's not very helpful, but it is there. So, but the icons are same throughout the platform. So that's how I knew it was the view relationship, even though I couldn't read it. Peter Bruce is the cousin of my great-great-grandfather, Robert Walter Zemstein, because here is Robert Victor, the professor that I talk about a lot on this channel. So maybe I'm just interested in following his father, Peter Bruce's father, Peter, and not so much Peter Bruce, because I'm not doing a lot of Zemstein research at this time. So I can go back and I can go to the three dots, and I can click unfollow. And then it'll tell me you're not following them anymore and they're off that list. If you want this prompt to go away, it will go away eventually. So if you didn't mean to make that change, then you can click undo. But you can notice that now I'm at 408 people that I'm following in my family tree. Once again, I have to stress, don't follow everybody. When you make that number so large, you start going to see your changes. How do you see your changes? Go to options. Instead of view by people, view all changes, sort by date changed. Then you're going to have this massive list of changes, and you're not going to see the people that you care about most. Maybe you're just going to have to start typing in names. Zemstein. All right, now I can see just the Zemsteins that have been changed, and then I can go through that. Don't try to make this list any larger than you're actively researching. Now, FamilySearch released a number of new improvements for the FamilySearch platform. Why don't you tell me in the comments below what your favorite one is, or the one you've been excited about. After you do that, be sure to check out one of these 2 playlists. The top will be the one about giving you more tips on using FamilySearch, and the bottom one is going to be one specifically selected for you. Okay, yay, I turned on the mic on this time.